All right, hello everybody, and welcome to the WCS Winter America side of the round of 8. Spawning here in the bottom left side to kick off our first game of the day. In this series, we've got Cham. And his boat at the top right, going to be the red Protoss Neeb. And while this notification didn't come up due to stream delay, that's one Twix. Thank you very much for the 8-month resub. Says, I just turn in, I see that I can resub, and man turns off the stream. Yeah, we did a quick restart to try and get the mute button fixed. So as it turns out, I can mute my... Whoops. But I can't unmute myself manually. Or I have to do it manually, which is maybe going to cause some problems. But as long as I don't have my giant coughing fits come across the stream, then it's all good. But okay. It's Ting, it's Neeb, we love this guy. We've seen him a ton. Big tournament winner 2017, didn't have the year of 2018. Maybe 2019 he brings it back, but Neeb not exactly leading the group. Again, it's Scarlet and Time, both with 3-0 scores, tied for first and second in the group at the time of the start of the round of 8 today for day 2. But that, of course, will change as games go on and we cast matches. Cham also with the exact same score as Neeb. So this best of 3 series isn't simply just a best of 3 for score. It is also a tiebreaker, literally, between the two of these particular players. Neeb has been known to do pretty much standard over time. I haven't really seen him deviate too much. Cham, on the other hand, is a very brute force player. I hesitate to say all-in, although I do think all-in is an appropriate way to describe him sometimes. But Cham likes to play with just like overwhelming numbers and try and pressure Protoss players before they can build up to their late game. Whereas Neeb is a guy who, if he gets to the late game, I do feel is unbeatable in some cases. But yeah, it's two clashing play styles. If I had to go with my gut, I actually feel it for Cham in this best of 3, even though I think my brain and my head says Neeb. But I do like that Cham's actually good enough to at least have me question whether it'll be him or not. And it's not such a one-sided series. Gellis in the chat says Liquipedia is always correct. I actually have a lot of experience with Liquipedia never being correct, and oftentimes having things like dates and times posted wrong, having my players show up to my tournaments on days we're not even casting and then get upset about it, and then sometimes not show up on the days they're supposed to show up. So I don't have a lot of faith in Liquipedia. In this case, for this instance, I was wrong about the map score, and Liquipedia was correct. But to say Liquipedia is always correct is incorrect. Actually, one of the big problems yesterday is I think nobody was updating for America. They did Europe pretty well, but America had like no updates until like after the casts were all done. So it's kind of hard to track who was winning and who was losing, which isn't a complaint, but just an observation. So hopefully today we'll get a little bit better up-to-date results on the page. We can see who advances through, because again, it's top 6 here for North America. Bottom 2 Fallout. Feels bad, man. And this Overlord for Neeb, or excuse me, for Cham's gonna get chased off by Neeb's Phoenix. That works out pretty well, but the fact that it's a Phoenix has been revealed, so Cham gets the information he needs. But like I said, Neeb plays pretty standard. Like, his Stargate's not proxied. I don't think he's gonna be swapping over to do a weird Void Ray. He might even do a second Stargate just because that's the Protoss style that some players like to do. But with Neeb, I gotta imagine it's probably a Robo plus a third rather than a second Stargate. Whereas later on, he may add on that second Stargate and we rock and roll. But, yep, here comes that third. Or at least the setup for it. Yeah, Pilot goes down. He's got the Adepts sorted. The Phoenix will provide some pressure on the other side of the map. The downside is Phoenixes can't do much with the Nidus Worm. In fact, there's going to be a lot of dead supply here for Neeb in terms of like what will be effective or not. However, if they can police the skies, keep Overseers and Overlords from seeing spots of the main base to place the Nidus Worm, that'll help a ton. The pressure will also assist a little bit here too. But the key thing is the Nidus Worm will allow these units to go underneath the map without being intercepted, whether it's directly into the main base or outside of the third. It's also a lot of Lings coming out of Cham, not Roaches, which I think is really interesting. Queens to boot with this. Full surround on the third base. That's already going to be a cancel by the looks of things. Oh, he grabs the Adepts! Neeb's going to transfer out and try and save one or two of these. The Nidus Worm does hit the main base while this goes on, but the damage from these Lings is good. Takes out about half the Adepts. Shield battery's coming at the natural, but that's not where he needs to be. Neeb not looking at his maybe. Oh, he's in the smoke! How does he not have vision of this? Cham found like one of the one spots Neeb would not have seen this coming, so Neeb's preparing for the big attack of Lings flooding into his natural. Not what's going to happen though. Lings flooding into the main. Yeah, Queen's paired up with his 2. A Creep Trooper comes down immediately. Starts 5 shield batteries. 5 shield batteries over here. Ling damage is pretty low. Queen damage is pretty low, but it's also very consistent if they get this around. So shield batteries, I think, with a couple of horses would be excellent, but this was too much. This was too quick. Neeb was ill-prepared, and Cham will take Game 1's victory. Not too bad out of Cham. I told you! My gut felt Cham! I always trust my gut. This actually brings up a weakness of Neeb I had kind of forgotten about, actually, because, like I said, it's been a little bit of time since we cast Neeb. But Neeb tends to fall apart to cheese in a game, and then tends to have like a bad series following it, whether it's best of 3 or best of 5. So Cham actually not just won game number 1, but set a good precedent for himself for the rest of this series. Usually, though, when I've seen Neeb lose, it's been more like Overlord drops and things like lurkers in nature, not necessarily Ling all-ins. Oh, I accidentally just picked one of our observers. I meant to just move him down to a spectator. Also, we are missing our Blizzard observer. Once he's joined us, we will get this game started up. Hope the downside is when you have quick games like that, like whoever's observing on Blizzard's end, I think they're using like 5 PCs, so they're not really paying attention to this one, and they're just kind of like, oh, it's over. After we've been waiting for a while. This happened yesterday a couple times, but hopefully it won't be too bad. I see a lot of European players tweeting about their results from today, and it's kind of interesting watching well, first off, it's great they're all getting support, but it's also interesting watching the type of tweets like, oh, I didn't go 7-0 like I was hoping, says Rainer, and it's like, oh, boo-hoo, dude, you came out first in the group, whatever. Got our Blizzard Observer coming out now. They call me Zine is now hosting you. Thank you, Zine, as they call you. All right, waiting on everyone to ready up. Cham and Neeb. Cyber Forest here for the next game. And I've been holding off on popping it, but we're going to drink some non-sponsored G Fuel to try and wake up. Because it's been a bit of a morning. But okay, Neeb says he's ready. Just waiting on Cham. Once Cham's good to go, we'll rock and roll. Quick reminder, guys, we are using a 3-minute stream delay. This is per Blizzard's requirement. Everyone streaming is using it. So it sucks a little bit. I can't interact with chat the way I like to, but I do appreciate you guys being here. I see all those messages, and good to see friendly faces like Bardino amongst others. But yeah, just waiting on Cham, guys. Well, I don't know how long we'll be waiting on Cham. He said 1 second. I counted 1,000 in my head, and it's definitely been more than a second, but Yeah, like I said, we just went on the players at this point. So a couple of moments of downtime. It is what it is. So I guess story time while we're waiting to get into game. I have found myself playing Diablo. I never really got into it on PC. I played it really early on, like when they had the auction house and all that stuff. You could make real money for it. Once upon a time. I started playing it recently on the Switch, though. I don't know if any of you guys played it on the Switch or not. And I never really played Reaper of Souls on PC. Okay, game's starting. I'll wrap this up. But man, I have been, like, I was casually playing, and then I finally got to endgame, and there's so much more endgame content than I remember there being. Like, the Nephilim rifts and all this is all new to me, so it's been a lot of fun and enjoyable. But I feel like I'm also, like, 3 years too late to the party. Anyways, let's hop into game. We'll skip the intro as we are already getting into map number 1. It's a brand new best of 3. Excuse me, map number 2. I'm in my brain. No good. All right, map number 2. He actually stole victory in map 1. Spotting to the top left side, we do have the Blue Zerg player, Cham. And his opponent to the bottom right, representing Ting, one of my favorite sponsors to work with, it's Neeb. Now, that all-in caught Neeb a little off guard. You'll actually see him scout here pretty quick with a probe. The thing I was going to mention before, like I said, I've seen, whether it was Scarlet or whoever, like, Zerg players typically seem to have a way to get under Neeb's skin with cheesy builds. Most of the time that I've cast, especially for some previous WCS events too, it has been like lurker drops. It hasn't been a big ling all in, but now it's a new patch, and of course you've got things like those Nidus worms, and through many different things that went wrong for Neeb that game, I think the worst culprit of it all, not that I think even if he saw it, it wouldn't have changed much, but the worst culprit of that game was the fact that he didn't have vision in his main base in just that one particular area in which the Nidus worm was coming down. So he was ill prepared. You saw him start building ship batteries in the natural, expecting a big attack in the natural base, not expecting the attack in the main. And I just said expecting really weirdly there. I don't know. That's my brain going for you. But regardless, every time I've seen Neeb fall apart, he seems to get a little tilted. Maybe not like in an angry sense, but it seems to affect the rest of the games in his series. That's always been one of his weak points when I cast him, at least. Now, I know it's not going to be like that for everybody in every cast and everywhere, but that's just one thing I have observed. Now, if that's not going to be the case, and Neeb 2019 is a stronger player who doesn't get distracted or eye off the prize, then great. But like I said at the start of this, I got like a little bit of a gut feeling here for Cham. I think he knows exactly what he needs to do to beat Neeb, and game 1 really solidified that guess for me. But map 2 starts off without anything too crazy. That probe was being very annoying, so the one small difference is Cham did have to skip through the 3rd base to take his natural. But if he's planning to go for 3 bases anyways in his game plan, then this isn't that big of a deal. If this is something where he was planning to do like a 2-base all-in, this does affect him a bit due to the creep spread and the connecting bases, but time will tell us what's going on. Right now we still have just drones being made outside the initial lings. Ling speed is finishing up in about, how many seconds? I can't tell because this overlay is WCS 3.0, but probably about, I'd say 15 seconds or so. And once he's got speed to start running around the map, he can do things like catch this adept that is out in the open. Stargate in the wall for Neeb, by the way. Full view of Cham, so he knows exactly what's going on. Cham uses the Abathur announcer pack. Kind of interesting. Good to know. That adept is low. If the queen was in position, this would actually probably only get about 1 kill, maybe 2 at most. Actually, still salvaging that with a build cancel and the luck of gas, that worked out really well for Cham. So only 1 drone, 1 ling have died. Of course, as I mentioned, though, the Overlord's sitting right here, so he sees what's coming out. He knows it's an Oracle. We should have a Spore Crawler minimum, I think, at 1 base, yeah, and then Queen covers the other, so that Oracle won't be too big of a problem. Although I do think there should be a Spore Crawler in the main. That feels like a bit of a potential weakness. Diablo Immortal. No, I'm not talking about Diablo Immortal, guys. Just Diablo. It's Diablo 3 Reaper Souls on the Switch. I never played really Reaper Souls until this past week. I've been playing a Necromancer, which has been pretty fun. Having your minions do all the work. Dude, look at these skeleton mages that do so much damage. Okay, sorry. Wrong game, wrong time, wrong cast. But yeah, I've been playing it in the downtime when we're on breaks. Just whipping out my Switch, do like a quick quest thing, come back to the cast. It's been fun. I feel a little sad that I kind of missed out on this over the last couple of years. It's a game I think I would have enjoyed on the PC, but I'm playing it on the Switch, so whatever. Phoenix is going to pick off an Overlord, which is nice. Gonna be a minor supply block for Cham, but he does have more Overlords already queued up, so it might not be that big of a deal. Lings getting got out here by the Adepts. Actually, Cham doesn't have much army supply, and with that supply block, I don't know if he can actually stop these Adepts. 3 Queens will simply not be enough. This doesn't come with Resonating Glaives or anything so cheesy. This is actually just Cham's supply block murdering him. Oh, that's rough. Drones probably got to just run at this point. I don't know that they can do anything to certainly fight against the Adepts. There's Oracles giving chase too. Oh my god. It's a massacre. It's going to be. This Roach is on the way, and I guess the Oracles are out of juice, so they won't be able to assist much in that regard, but the Adepts tear down the Spore Crawler, giving a little bit of freedom to stay around the base. This many Adepts, though, can poke away and just transfer out, and I think that's the plan here. Though he cancels the transfer, actually. Just gets the Oracles out alive. If this was, you know what's crazy? If Neeb had actually done a little bit of payback and gone for a big Resonating Glaives all in, I think this is game over. But he didn't, so Cham is slowly recovering, but he's down a lot of workers for this. 15 workers to be precise. If he does want to counterattack with a big all-in, he's doing it off of a lower worker count, which will make this very difficult to execute. As Neeb, it won't take much for him to defend. A couple of force fields, cancel the third, a shield battery. Like, he's got Immortals already coming out. I really think he might not even need to cancel the third. Oh, that force field's already looking pretty good. If you got a second one off, that would have been some kills. But hey, you know what? Ravager's being morphed in now too. Once the Oracles have a little bit more energy, they can fight, but they can't pull the trigger too soon, or they'll run out of juice and fuel via the energy before they can actually get too much done. So he does pop them. They've only got about like 20 seconds of attack time, which sounds like it should be a lot, but there's a lot of units they got to help clean up in this fight. Sentry's holding the line best they can. Immortals have already had their shields pop. Not the one in the back, I suppose. Neeb's defense looks pretty solid. Cham down 15 workers, gonna tap out. GG. And we are going to go to a game number 3 in the series. I don't remember what the third map is, though. Give me a sec. I got to go dig this up. Sure. Toasting. Where did Neeb rate me? That was just in the chat. King's Cove for the third map. Hey, we get to meme a little bit for this last one. Okay. Get him again. Blizzard Observer in here. Very important components to have for the game. All right, and I think there's like a Spanish streamer, something we got to get into. Horse TV, or wherever. All right. I can't invite them. Well, if they don't click the lobby link soon, we'll probably just have to go without them. I cannot. They've got the privacy settings on, so I can't directly invite them. Oh, I was waiting to the channel. That's on me! I was typing in base trade TV chat. Ah, I'm the idiot in this case. It's okay. We got them now. Okay. Ready. Players are good. We'll rock and roll straight here into game 3. I say straight here into game 3. What I mean is we're gonna watch a silly dumb meme intro and then get into game 3. Just waiting on Neeb to give us the go ahead. All right. See you guys in Kings Cove. Welcome back, WCS winner game number 3. Spawning here in the bottom right side, it is going to be the red Protoss Ting's own Neeb. Just took back victory in game 2 against his opponent who took game 1 in the top left. It's Cham. Don't know who to give this to. Again, things tied up 1-1 as we get into this last match. What is coming up next is a good question, Twitch chat. Let me actually go back here and open up my document. Next up should be Scarlet versus Time. And again, things might change, but Scarlet versus Time, Masa versus Estrella, and then apparently our 4th match is actually undecided. I thought we were doing Estrella versus Time. We'll find out once we get there. But 3 more best of 3s after this one before we're all said and done for the day. And thank you all for tuning in. Scarlet and Time, actually, this is great. We got kind of blessed because this match here is a tiebreaker specifically between Cham and Neeb. And excuse me. And then depending on scores of the other two, at the moment, both Scarlet and Time are 3-0 in score. That could be a tiebreaker match for them. I believe they are also teammates. They both are on I think Scarlet joined a Chinese team. I actually haven't been following that scene very much, so I don't quite know what's going on. Hey, Heavy Armor 33 blessing us with a tier 3 sub. 18 months, says a year and a half. My, how time flies. And to think I only slightly regretted subscribing. JK, love you, Rifkin, and have enjoyed this time with you greatly. It's always nice to see you in the chat, man. I love seeing friendly faces. The tier 3 sub doesn't hurt, but it's good to see you, Heavy Armor. I know you're going through some stuff. Hope you're doing well. But all right, as far as this one goes, I don't know if Cham wants to cheese this. What was really frustrating about last game, I feel, at least as a Cham fan, not necessarily as an observer professional, but as a Cham fan, I feel like he played like a little bit greedy. The army supply wasn't there. I don't think a supply block should have killed him, but it did. Just a lot of things went wrong that I think could have been avoided for him. And I gotta imagine he feels the same way. So maybe some adjustments to his play style. Doesn't have to take his 3rd first in that annoying fashion because of the probe. So I think we'll see a little bit better play style out of Cham here for game 3. Ultimately, though, Neeb could still lock it up and take the series off of Cham. Just as much as I think Cham could take the series off of Neeb. But we are in the start of the game, and it's too early to call anything. It's a Stargate out of Neeb for the opener, and the difference is this time it's not the main wall off, but the Overlord still gets to see it. You'll notice he's left it here chilling because he wants to see exactly what gets built out of this. There's a big difference between an Oracle and a Phoenix opening. He's going to see the Phoenix. That Overlord is sadly doomed to die. He's not even going to try and run it away. That's fine. But he knows what's coming out, which is important. There's an Adept making its way to the main base right now. That's going to be a little annoying to deal with. But Neeb actually goes for the cancel on the transfer. The Zombie Grub still cast at base trade once in a while. She's mostly doing her own stuff. She's actually casting matches today on her channel, twitch.tv/zombiegrub. Not to mention our good friend Wardy, also casting games, twitch.tv/Wardy. All 3 of us have been just B streaming, if you want to call it, side streaming, BCD, whatever. It doesn't matter. We've all been casting various matches here throughout the round robin to help give proper coverage to everything. And there's been a lot of games. Like, a lot of games have been played across both the mainstream and all of our side streams. So even if you don't watch the streams live, definitely everybody's going to have their VODs up on YouTube, I guarantee it. So you can always check out all the matches, all the games of your favorite players. But yeah, she's covering these solo on her channel. Or at least I think she's solo. I don't know. I'm not watching, so I obviously can't tell you. Anyways, queens go for a little bit of damage here. Not a problem cleaning up these adepts. The question was really like how much drone damage was going to get done, and the answer here is really not much. The one transfer to the main actually gets picked off pretty quickly. He does get to see the timing. Oh, he doesn't see the timing, but he does see the layer on the way. Adept had lived like another 10 seconds. He would have seen this pop up and known exactly when. Well, here comes the Oracle to confirm. So, hey, it still works out. Nidus Worm starts up for Cham. ASAP at the back of his natural base. Hoping this doesn't get scouted. At the moment, what he's seen, Neeb that is, doesn't look too suspicious or too fishy. But this is a repeat of game 1, but with the addition of +1 melee. Now, look. Game 1 went pretty well for Cham for a couple of different reasons. A lot of things fell apart for Neeb. But there was a spot, kind of like this one, that Cham was able to take advantage of that Neeb couldn't see the Nidus Worm coming. And it's not necessarily about killing the Nidus Worm before it sprouts up, but at least knowing where you need to position your units and what angle the attack is coming from. Now this one looks to be just a front attack. It's going to bring all the queens with it so they don't have to walk slowly across the map, not to mention the Ling reinforcements. But 4 queens with this isn't going to be too bad. It'll help kill some of the air, but also just has the range to reach over and shoot things like the sentry. Lifts up the Stalker instead of the legs. That's kind of a clever move, but the Queen should still be able to pick this out of the sky. Also, not that much in terms of defense, right? Sentries are focused here on the new Nidus Worm coming in, so nobody's shooting those Queens. Lings are just chipping away at the building. New Nidus Worm does actually pop up, so units get into the base, they break in, they push it, Nidus Worm goes down, but another one's coming up to replace that one. Most of the Queens are gone, it's coming down to the Lings. Phoenixes do not have enough energy to lift up every single Zergling, but between the shield batteries and the damage, these are kind of being dealt with. I can't really call this right now because these units are so few and so scarce for Neeb, but new shield batteries are finishing up. And what few units are alive are handling the situation so far. Probes have died, that sucks. But if he holds on to this, he'll at least have the same workers as Cham, because Cham, of course, got workers to kind of all in for this. Lost a lot of queens through the fight, too. That's not so hot. Maybe he picks up a few more probes on his way out. New Lings are coming out, but it's only like 3. It's not that much of a reinforcement line. 14 more Lings on the way. He's going to hopefully use this Nidus Worm before it goes down. Yeah, actually kills the Zealot. Goes for the Sentry. Nice pick off there. Cham doesn't have a lot of units to work with, though, and he's kind of struggling. Part of this is a lack of money. Part of it's a lack of larva. Column A, column B type thing. These oracles are almost out of juice. Probes are still dying, but at the rate that they're being built. So you'll notice the worker count remains pretty steady on both sides of this. I'm not sure how Cham feels about his situation. He does come out of this a little bit ahead of his opponent, but not much. Not much. And of course, there's a counterattack off to deal with. There's no Spore Crawlers down. There's no Queens. They're all brought across the map. I think Neeb's got this, guys. I think the defense was good, and this small counterattack with a Phoenix is going to be really good. Whether it's picking off a Queen or picking off the drones, they don't need to be at home defending. Oracles and Zealots have got this covered. The Lings that are coming out of the Nidus Worm are not plentiful enough. They can't even get a surround. Well, okay, these ones do, actually. I take that back. +1 melee really shining through. I expect these Lings to do so poorly, and then they're hitting for just barely enough. With a surround, they're doing tons of damage. Oracle's out of juice. He's going to kill the pylon that's powering these. Oh, he goes for the probes instead. All right, not bad. Back on the other side of the field. These Phoenix still have a ton of energy. They can pick up a lot of drones. They pick up all the Queens. They obviously can't pick up buildings, so that Nidus Worm is fine for the time being, but I don't know, man. I think Cham's out of steam. I really want to hype this up. There's the GG. Yup. Neeb ends up taking the series 2-1, breaking the tie between them, placing himself up 1 rung in the group and pushing Cham 1 rung down. Well done, Neeb. But okay. We have the next series. Like I said, Scarlet versus Time. That will be dependent on when the players are done their current games. I'm not sure if they're still playing or what. So we go to commercials while I look into it. And either we'll have a game or we'll have updates in a few minutes. Big shout out to Heatsink as well. Thank you for the 44-month sub. Sorry, that's during the action, man. So much SC2 today. Thanks for casting today, Rifkin. Well, thank you for watching and resubbing. Be back in a few.
Mm-hmm.